Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Craig Burley and Ali Moreno. A little later on in the show, we'll be looking ahead to Juventus against Atletico Madrid. Mourinho, didn't we?
Well, Real Madrid had two options, both of which were turning back. One was Mourinho, one was Zidane. Very, very different, of course, in terms of their approaches, very different in terms of their personalities. And I think what happened over the last 3 or 4 days is that Madrid were in a position where they had to try and persuade Zidane to come back. And I must admit, I'm genuinely surprised that Zidane gave in. Now, he today in this press conference has talked about how nothing really needed to be said to him, no promises needed to be made, no guarantees needed to be offered. He just needed to get the call. Now, if that's true, why was the call made last Thursday and it's only happened today on Monday?
Sid, obviously we're speculating, but you imagine promises mean you're going to get new players, we're going to get rid of the players that you don't want. Promises, of course, that Florentino Perez couldn't give this time last year, hence Zidane walked.
Yeah, exactly. Either couldn't give or wouldn't give. And I think while Zidane has insisted that, I haven't been told these things, I haven't been told things about cleaning out the squad and so on, I don't think anyone truly believes him on that. And he talked tonight about just getting on with the next 11 games, thinking about what they do in the summer, and that changes will then be made, which of course tells you that there are some changes in mind. Also, he's got 11 games to try and make a final decision on that. But I think you're absolutely right. I think what's happened over the last 4 or 5 days is that they've discussed the kind of things he would like to do and the kind of things that he probably wanted to do, as you rightly say, in the summer. And at that stage, that guarantee wasn't given. Now, given Real Madrid's crisis, it has been.
Finally, Sid, before you go for your boy band rehearsal, let's talk about the fact, how has it been received in Madrid? How do the fans like this?
Absolutely delighted. In terms of a kind of ending a crisis move, this has been a masterstroke. I remember we talked about this last week, and I was saying that what I couldn't really get my head around, what I couldn't really understand, is what need there would be to bring in a manager now who might get burnt by these final 11 games. I have to say, in terms of my interpretation there, I was clearly very wrong. And obviously what's happened is that since the knockout in the Champions League, we saw this in the 2 or 3 days that followed, the crisis risk getting deeper. And by putting Zidane in, you calm that down immediately. So these 11 games might mean nothing, but they do mean that you can calm things down, you can get someone in who everybody is behind. I mean, Zidane tried to claim that 1 or 2 people were annoyed with him for walking out. That doesn't feel true at all. Right now, the whole of the city is delighted.
Sid Lowe, thank you very much for your thoughts. Just a reminder, Zinedine Zidane had a phenomenal record with the club. Of course, in the Champions League, was so successful. He's back for a second stint, gentlemen. Is this the right choice?
Well, absolutely. And, as Sid was just saying there, for Florentino Perez, for the time being, it gets a lot of people off his back. Now, I can't remember what the rhetoric was from when Zidane left. I think he said he wanted to take a break.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, let's be honest, he could probably smell and see what was around the corner.
The Titanic was sinking pretty much.
Well, he probably had a look at it and thought, well, we need this, we need that, we need to do this, and if I'm not going to get it, maybe it's better I step aside. And if he's really clever, and I don't know if this is the case, he maybe could have foreseen that it was going to be a struggle, and that down the line he might have an opportunity to come back in and let somebody else just take the pressure, be it Solari or Lopetegui. And he comes back in now with a big job on his hands, but, without any real pressure between now and the end of the season, because he'll just say, listen, I need to rebuild this in the summer.
Yeah. Genius moves from both parties.
Really?
From Florentino Perez and Real Madrid, it looks as if, and this may be surprising to some Real Madrid fans, that there may be a plan in place. That indeed you're making a decision based not only on what happens next weekend, but what happens in the long term with Real Madrid. It feels as if you're bringing Zidane back is because now you've assured him that we're going to make this transition and we're going to make the changes that need to be made that we couldn't make last summer. For Zidane, he goes, takes his break, gets his mind off the game, and he just watches from the outside and sees this team fall apart, which he probably could have foretold before he walked off, and then comes back and he's a hero. And no matter what happens from here till the end of the season, he's still a hero. And, oh mind you, then comes the changes. And that's really where things need to happen for Real Madrid. That the decisions that they make in terms of personnel make sense to Zinedine Zidane. Those are the things that he wants, and that he gets the players that he wants. And the players that are not going to be helpful and useful, get out. The players that we need, bring them in. The other ones that we don't want, gone. all of that needs to happen, and Zidane seems to be the calmest person to make this happen. This man was outstanding today in the press conference. Everything was a
He
smile.
didn't even dress up for the press conference.
No, look at the pants. Are you kidding me? So he just looked so calm, and everything was so welcoming. Everything, nothing to see. I love this club. This is fantastic. It's great from everybody.
But, I mean, apart from Gareth Bale, it seemed pretty much he got on, had a good relationship with almost everybody.
Yes.
Hence one of the reasons he was able to be so successful. I mean, it's well documented him and Bale particularly get on, and Bale spent a lot of time on the bench. However, that kind of cosy relationship now that brought him success is going to have to be broken up.
Yep.
Because as Ali said, he's now going to have to take a real hard-nosed look at this now and say, him and him need to go. I know they were successful for me, but that was then, and this is now. So he's going to make some... He came in before and he was fighting some fires, and it was about getting the players smiling again and getting the happy team ethic and being happy in the training ground and going out for meals and the team that sort of drinks together wins together. But that's not the squad he's taken over now. No. He's now taken over an embattled squad of players. I've had Ramos out. I don't know what Ramos was doing today. Social media, press. He was like holding court.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot to sort out between now and the summer transfer window.
Let's welcome Ian Dark into the show. Ian, what do you make of this appointment?
Well, I think it's home is the hero, isn't it? This is the guy who could do no wrong when he was in charge before. And I suppose it's a happy outcome for Real Madrid. But there are some big issues. Like Sid and the rest of the guys, I can't believe that he hasn't been given plenty of assurances about what will happen in the summer in terms of buying players, maybe Eden Hazard. What is he going to do about Bale? What is he going to do about Isco? What is he going to do about Marcelo? There's a lot to sort out at Real Madrid because it has been a horrendous season by their standards.
Isn't this a bit of a slap in the face for Mourinho, who we've seen over the last couple of weeks pretty much openly courting Real Madrid and saying, I had a great time there, I'd love to go back, and they've chosen Zinedine Zidane, whose CV, I know at Real Madrid is great, but Jose Mourinho surely is a maturer coach, a more successful one.
He is, but he's also one that's carried a lot of baggage and been very problematic, even at that club. And so for Mourinho, he'll just say, well, I'll wait on PSG. Right. I always wanted to go and manage in France. And there's a fair chance that one will come. A fair chance that one will come around. The other one is Pochettino. I don't know if he came into the thinking in this process for Real Madrid, but he's now sitting looking at Solskjaer doing well at Man United. We discussed that. Yeah. And Zidane on a contract till 2022.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things been affected here, including Mourinho, but I'm sure he'll do all right with his payoff. Just sitting tight for
of course, he's still living off his Manchester United payoff.
And the others, and the Chelsea, and the others.
Short term, as everyone seems to agree, this is great for Real Madrid from both sides. But big picture, Zinedine Zidane set the bar so high when he was there. Surely the only kind of way is down, isn't it?
Well, no, because of where the team is now. You look at a team that is on life support, and the standard of Real Madrid is much higher than everybody else's. And so therefore, where the team is now, as currently constituted, Zidane walks in and makes this team successful next year. Again, it's a perfect scenario for Zinedine Zidane because the bar is incredibly low. I mean, we're talking about a team that has nothing to play for from here on to the end of the season. And so that's not the standard for Real Madrid. So he's walking in, and because there is pressure to perform and put together a team, he can then say, in order for us to be the team that we were, we need to make these changes. And who wouldn't listen when you are where you are if you're Real Madrid?
Well, my memory's not great. Was it three Champions Leagues?
3 Champions
Leagues. Right, but they didn't win La Liga.
No.
Right. Now, there's the carrot.
Yes.
And, we know how important Champions League is, but whenever and it was about a year ago, we spoke to our colleague, Steve McManaman, former Real Madrid player, and said, what would you prefer to win?
Yeah.
Somebody that played for Real Madrid, and Champions League or La Liga? And he said La Liga.
Yeah.
So I suppose...
Which Zidane was saying a lot as well during his tenure, because obviously they've been successful in the Champions League and Barca have dominated.
So that's the big thing to start winning that. I mean, it's a win-win in terms of a PR exercise, but in terms of what he's got to do on the field and what he has to do in the transfer window is huge.
We haven't heard from Santi yet, by the way, if he's going to come back on the show now.
Well, he's going to have time.
From Real Madrid to extra time.
He's going to have time now.
Mistake. That's it. Just a reminder of where Real Madrid are in La Liga table. You could argue the one thing they're fighting for is for a top 4 space, but they should be fine. 10 points clear of Alaves in 5th. Samara, in Turin, remember Atleti go there with a 2-0 lead. Massive favourites to advance 4-1 on. Juve come in at 3-1. Allegri's normally pretty good with the press, but some kind of strange quotes from the Juve coach looking ahead to this game. I think expectations have been raised far too much and it's become an obsession. Playing in the Champions League ought to be a pleasure and a joy. In my view, it's wrong to see it negatively because I think we've done a great job here. It's true, every story has to come to an end, but we're heading for an 8th consecutive Scudetto and we won the Italian Super Cup. What's he doing? Why is he saying that? Oh, the Champions League is some sort of bonus prize.
Right, lads, we just brought in Ronaldo, but don't worry, 100 million, don't worry about it, just enjoy it. And if you lose 2-0 in Madrid to Atleti, then it's not a problem. I don't know, he's got a fractious relationship at the moment with, I think, internally at Juventus, but also with the fans and the media. But I honestly I could see this being an explosive game tomorrow. I know.
Do you know Atletico Madrid are playing in it?
I know, but when they turn it on Juventus, and I know they've not been at the best recently, they're an explosive side. I just got a feeling that we're going to have a special night in Turin, and it's not going to be a dull and boring game. Right. All right? Okay. Don't blame me if it is.
0-0, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a minute.
Get that money on now.
Have you been on the Peronis before the show? This is usually a post-show.
Why is Allegri playing down the Champions League?
And it's almost a concession. He said, well, all good things come to an end, but we're winning the title and this and that and the other. Look, I don't see how this is motivational. I don't see how this gets anybody going. I'm not sure what exactly he's getting to. I think the larger point is the fact that maybe he feels that his job at Juventus has been underappreciated because of the weight and the focus on Champions League rather than day-to-day success of this club. But the problem is that, as Craig alluded to, if you bring Cristiano Ronaldo not to win the 8th Scudetto in a row.
Sure.
You bring Cristiano Ronaldo because of the possibility and the idea that this is the piece that you were missing from getting over the top in Champions League. They've been there. They've been close. It's been a matter of things going their way here and there. They've had those opportunities. And because you've been so close, then people expect that you're going to get back to that point.
Of course.
And if you are an elite club around the world, this is what people are going to want and need from you. So if Allegri is over this relationship, then, hey, there's one person that can resolve this and say, you know what, guys, I'm done. See you guys later.
And that's him. As you mentioned, 100 million on Ronaldo in the summer, very much with the eye on the Champions League, but he hasn't really brought it so far. Stats lovely, but it wasn't quite emphasising the point that I was making. Take a look at the bug there. 1 goal in the Champions League so far this season. Domestically, he's been brilliant, Ian. However, when it comes to Europe, Cristiano Ronaldo has not delivered the sort of performances that Juventus would have expected bringing him last summer.
Yeah, yet, remember his record in the knockout rounds with Real Madrid. He was scoring just about every game in the last 2 seasons. And I agree with Craig. I don't think Juventus are done with yet in this tie. I think this is all a smokescreen from Allegri. He's just trying to calm things down. They'll be pumped up. They'll be eyeballs out trying to rescue that tie. No question about it. And it wouldn't be surprising to me if Cristiano Ronaldo really starts to turn it on now in Europe when it matters most.
So, Ian, you're going
Take
for...
that, Daniel.
What was that saying?
Yet, Ian said yet. He always delivers in the latter stages of this competition.
But we'll have this conversation.
Just because he's left Real Madrid,
hey,
you're not binning him.
We'll have a conversation about this tomorrow. So, Ian, who have you got to go through?
Having said that, I think Atletico Madrid are the last team you want to play, aren't they? Trying to rescue a 2-goal win. Diego Simeone is a mean machine, so I think it's going to be a great game. There's my prediction.
There you are.
Great
Take
game.
that, Craig.
Well, good defence area. I'm sticking my neck out. I'm going to say a great night in Turin, a memorable night, and Juventus to go through.
How?
By winning.
No, because like obviously 2-0 extra time there'll be penalties.
Yeah, well, I'm not
3-1, not good enough.
You know, I'm not a crystal ball. I don't know how it's going to happen. Ronaldo to have a special night. I think.
If Atleti score 1, Juve need 4.
I know how this competition.
I know. I'm just emphasising.
As I said earlier, when I was doing a piece earlier, if Man United can go to PSG with a completely depleted squad and win 3-1 in a night, it's not inconceivable at home. Yeah, do you think it's just over?
I think it's over.
Well, shut up! You're so negative.
What's that negative?
Every time there's a big game, you go, "Oh, it's just going to be horrible." Atleti are involved.
When's the last time Atleti have been good in a good match that's entertained you?
Well, you better tune in tomorrow. Then.
I will be here tomorrow.
Are we saying Juventus are not good enough to beat Atletico Madrid 2-0?
Well, we're going to find out.
Oh, is that what we're saying?
That's a good point, and then we'll find out. But it's not going to be a barnstorming 5-3 thriller.
They are good enough. However, you just mentioned PSG. There's a big difference between PSG and Atletico Madrid, and there's a strength of character.
There's a big difference between Juventus and Man United.
Well, that too.
So,
hey, I like your arguments. You almost convinced me. However, Atletico Madrid defending.
Pick Juventus.
No chance. I'm not sticking my neck out and keeping my neck right in here.
Meanwhile, of course, the other game is in Manchester. Wow. Wow! Manchester City are 200-1 on to advance to the quarterfinals. Remember, they take a 3-2 lead going into that second leg. Maybe the fans were spoilt with what they achieved last year.
So what do you expect? You win a championship, you are brought in as the new head coach, the new manager. There's questions surrounded, including me, who asked, okay, is this the right person to take this team forward? Because there are issues in terms of the player personnel that you have available and the manager that is coming in is not quite a match. So those concerns, the fans also know those concerns. They also see it. And then when you go out there and don't play well, what do you expect? You're taking a championship team and you're making this team look like an average group. Now, you can evaluate this from the perspective that it's early on in the season. No, let's cut them a break.
Sure.
Let's give them a break.
Sure, CONCACAF Champions League.
CONCACAF Champions League, okay, fine, no problem. I'm willing to accept that this makes it a little bit more difficult. But he just said Toronto went through this. So maybe, novel concept, novel idea, maybe you learn from that experience. And maybe you use it to your advantage. And maybe you prepare your team accordingly. Bottom line is, you look at this team play up until now. It may change, but until now, he has managed to make a team that was outstanding, that was free-flowing, that had transition, that played with speed, that was vertical, that got in behind, that exploited the qualities of the players available, and he has made them into slow, passing sideways. They get to the final third, they pass the ball back, and here we go back around. How do you do that? I'm telling you, some managers come in, they're stubborn, I want to be the guy, I'm going to show you how it's done, and you're not utilizing the players that you have in your team. That is the biggest challenge from Frank de Boer, and he's got to sort it out, whether the fans have expectations or not. That's his responsibility.
1 win in 5 since he's taken over at
Atleti
United. Not good at all. A chance to make it 2, I suppose, this week, but it's a big mountain for his side to climb, of course, in CONCACAF Champions League action. 3-0 down after the first leg against Monterrey. It wasn't a good week, was it, last week for MLS sides in this competition? Sporting KC with that 2-1 loss. Meanwhile, Houston Dynamo, of course, lost against Tigres. Red Bulls also on the wrong end of a 2-0 scoreline. Out of all of them, Ali,
there's only one team with a chance, and that's Sporting Kansas City playing at home against Independiente from Panama. Yeah. The other groups, you might as well rotate the teams.
Really? That's it.
I just don't see how New York Red Bull, after giving up 2 goals at home, goes to Santos and win there. I don't see it. I don't see Houston going to Tigres and winning there. I don't see it. I don't see Atlanta, after what we have seen from them over the last 10 days or so, I don't see them beating Monterrey. No. And so if you're MLS and you're flying that MLS flag, you better hit your bandwagon to one team and one team only. That's Sporting Kansas City. They have a chance at home against a team that, quite frankly, if you're an MLS team with the sort of backing, with the sort of structure, the organization, the resources that MLS has, should be able to beat Independiente from Panama. That's the truth, and that should be the expectation.
Just a reminder, plenty of MLS action for you throughout the season. So many games available for you here on ESPN+. We've got 6 for you on Saturday, followed by 3 of them on Sunday, including Atlanta United against Philadelphia Union. out to the fan, and should indeed the club face charges as well?
Well, the fan's been given 10 more years of a ban by the club, and I think Birmingham City are bound to be punished in some shape or form. But this is a very worrying development. It wasn't only in this game. There was somebody coming on the pitch in the Arsenal-Manchester United game to attack Chris Smalling. It happened in a game in Scotland as well between Hibernian and Rangers a couple of days before. So you do wonder, don't you? Think back to Monica Seles, the great tennis player, being attacked by somebody with a knife. How did anybody know that this guy coming on the pitch didn't have a knife or a brick or something in his hands? This could get a lot worse, and football has to do something about it.
Ian brings that up. It's something that you've cited before on the show. You know, if this person had a knife, it could have been
I don't know what you do about it, because you can't steward the whole ground. It's just not possible to have a steward every yard around the ground to stop people coming on. We can't go back to putting fences up like some clubs, like my old club Chelsea, put a big huge fence up in the 80s. Ken Bates. We can't go back to that period. But unfortunately, I think it's a kind of sense of society at the moment where we are. You've only got to look in social media and see some of the vitriol that goes around over the most innocuous stuff, and that seems to carry on to the stadiums these days as well, where fans, some of them, unfortunately spoiling it for the vast majority, I think they have carte blanche just to go and do what they want. So I don't know how you stop this just by self-policing it amongst the actual decent people themselves.
Yeah,
it's a difficult one.
Ian, obviously you travel the country going to different grounds. Craig brings up social media there, and it's been cited, hasn't it, the fact that almost because these idiots now have a voice, it's almost normalising their opinion and in some way their actions as well. Is it that it's getting worse, or are we just picking it up more?
No, I think it is getting worse. Craig's right. I think the fans now do have a voice on social media, and often it's a toxic voice as well. They feel emboldened, and maybe it's only a small step from being a keyboard warrior to thinking, when you've had a few drinks, that, hey, I'll go on the pitch and I'll attack their best player. And you know what the worst thing about it was? Quite a lot of the Birmingham fans actually applauded that moron for doing what he did.
Yeah, it's difficult to fathom that these people go to a game and this is their incentive, this is what they want to do.
Well, and that's the concerning part, because it's easy to say, well, it's just the one idiot. It's just the one guy that jumps in and does what he does. But the fact that the reaction from the other fans in and around him is to serenade him and to celebrate it, that's concerning, because then it's not just one idiot. Yeah. There's just plenty of idiots out there. And so are we getting to the point where the idiots are outnumbering the rest of the people? And if that's the case, that's scary. That's a scary thought. Now, as bothered as I am with the idiot, as concerned as I am with the other idiots around him that are serenading him, I'm just as upset with the security in the stadium. The fact that we cannot guarantee the safety and well-being of the players in what should be their sanctuary. That's where they should be untouchable. You allow the players to provide you with a show out on the stage. That's their stage. If they cannot feel safe to be able to perform what they're paid to do, then there's a problem. Then we can't play the games. Without the safety of the players and that guarantee, we cannot play the game.
I'm not blaming social media for this at all, because it's much deeper than that. But actually, the tribalism is getting worse. I mean, English journalist about a year ago, Rich Jolly, wrote a very good piece saying the conspiracy theorists out there, particularly on social media, are driving these morons nuts. They're fueling them. Yeah. They're pouring petrol on the fire of the conspiracy theories, how everything, and it's making some of these people just absolutely freak out and become demented and crazy and just make poor decisions. And hopefully the jail sentence will deter any other idiot from coming on the pitch, but I dare say it won't.
But you got to jump ahead of the curve real quick. You got to jump ahead of the curve. You can't just wait until something worse happens in order to take action. You can't have a guy being stabbed on the field in order for you to make a decision. You got to jump ahead of it so that these things don't happen.
Just a reminder, if you ever miss a show, you can download our daily pod. You look at the odds as to who will win the title in the Premier League. Manchester City remain favourites, 11-4 on 1 point clear of Liverpool, 9-4. Both, of course, with victories at the weekend. Ian, are we persuading you at all at the moment to change your Liverpool pick from the start of the season?
No, Liverpool have their best ever points tally at this stage. They're making a heck of a fight of it. I think it'll come down to how much of a distraction will be the Champions League for both of the clubs and a key game, Manchester United against Manchester City.
Well, both those clubs in Champions League action on Wednesday. Meanwhile, gentlemen, to end, talking top four after what we saw yesterday, Arsenal beating United. Who have you got to join City and Liverpool in the Champions League next season?
I've still got Man United at the moment.
Right, and Spurs?
Yes, just.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, looking at Chelsea at the weekend, they were awful again.
Sure.
And I think Arsenal, he's done a very good job there, but I think they'll just falter. I think.
Should I pick Spurs?
I don't know, Ali. You and Spurs have got this weird
Should I pick
relationship at
Spurs?
the moment.
You know what? I'm going to go with Spurs
Yeah.
and Manchester United.
No love for Arsenal. They just beat United 2-0.
I'm picking Spurs.
All right then,
Spurs
guys.
fans, I'm picking Spurs.
Thank you very much. Much more from us tomorrow. Until then, goodbye. Welcome into Extra Time. I feel we need to start with Ian today. He's had some issues, and we could witness all of your technical issues as they were happening, Ian, but they started even before you were on camera because you couldn't even get in the building today. You've had a good evening.
Yeah, I think they'd heard about me. They'd got all the bands in place. But somehow I made it through all the tunnels and past all the towers and got in.
And you're very technically literate, aren't you, Ian? So it's fine. No problems. You fixed everything.
There's never been a commentator born who knows anything more than he needs to speak into the microphone.
Okay, where does the signing of Zidane leave Pochettino with Solskjaer getting the United job?
Well, he's not getting it, is he?
Will he go to Barca or will he just stay put?
We don't know if he's getting it.
What, Solskjaer? He's going to get it.
Looks likely.
Yeah.
Will he go to Barca? So he's going to Barca now?
This is it. This seems to be it.
Or he might just confess he's
Oh, you okay?
Wow.
All right.
What's happened?
profound love for Tottenham and stay and move
just
into the
stay,
new stadium.
and that'll be
Daniel
it.
Levy might just give him some money or maybe not.
Not that it matters much, but Valverde just signed a new deal, so...
There you go.
Say.
And Pochettino, Espanol.
Yeah, no, I don't see the match.
With Zidane's return, Darky, it's probably the end of Bale at Madrid. What do you think will be the best team for him, not taking into account the transfer fee and wages?
Well, it can't be Chelsea, can it? Because they've got the transfer ban going on, so there can't be a swap for him and Hazard, which might be quite an enticing look. I think he might have to take a wage cut. Manchester United?
It's a gamble, whoever takes him, considering his form and injuries.
Yeah, tell me something. Ian, tell me something. Why did their appeal... Why was Barca and other teams allowed to buy players whilst an appeal was getting processed and Chelsea's was just completely knocked out of the park?
Yeah, I don't understand that one either, because it looked like they'd be able to buy a whole lot of players in the summer while the appeal was going on, and then later the ban might kick in. So I don't know. I think Chelsea is still arguing that one, and I think they're taking it to a court of arbitration.
Let me throw something at you.
Okay.
I'm going to throw something at you. Real Madrid fan.
Yes.
Bale out the door.
Yes.
In a swap of sorts to make the numbers work, Neymar comes in. I'm trying to spitball here.
I don't know. Just Neymar's such a...
I'm trying to solve problems for you.
I know, but like financially, it surely makes much more sense to get Hazard in. I'm not saying that Hazard's a better player than Neymar.
Well, no, sorry, it's not he can't.
Yeah.
Chelsea can't go out and
Yeah.
replace. Depends how much he kicks and screams.
But if you
Gareth
get-
Bale could always go to France and learn French. Look, he's been learning Spanish. That's it really well.
Well, Spanish didn't come natural to him. You
Go
see.
out for some meal with players, you know.
Gareth Zidane is back.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
I'm out, guys. See you later.
Ian, what was your favourite team to commentate on? Past or indeed present?
Past or present? Favourite team to commentate on? I think the Barcelona team around 2011.
Yeah.
That year they won the Champions League, beating Manchester United at Wembley. I don't think I've ever seen a better club performance than that.
Yeah.
Hey,
That was a brilliant team.
he can say that.
Yeah, but we know...
But we've heard the real emotion.
Yes.
Yes.
There's only one place where we heard "Go Go USA."
That's it.
Come on. Come on.
That was great. That was a great moment for US soccer. It really
Was
was.
that 2010?
2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
go.
Algeria.
South
Yeah,
Africa.
Landon Donovan.
Oh, yes.
He's still for AC. He's still going on.
That's sorted out his retirement. He's
Yeah.
sorted.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
It's been taken care of and everything.
What will happen first? Stevie getting his own skit or Craig bringing back Burley's boiling point? You keep saying you're going to bring back the old boiling point.
Yeah.
Then you just don't get round to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
You've mellowed. You've mellowed. That's
it.
what happened.
I'll try. I might do it. I just don't get around. I just don't. If they make a new thing at the start, what do you call that? The intro.
Right.
Somebody comes up with a decent one.
Okay.
I might think about it.
You don't like the one with your head blowing off?
No.
Okay.
I like that one. That's good.
One of the boys can come up,
Right.
get creative, and come up with something.
Ah.
Right. I'll have a think about it.
Oh, that's really incentive for them.
Well, don't do it then. It's not on my contract.
Oh, goodness.
It's a sensitive time to talk about boiling points.
Which one of you guys would survive the longest on a deserted island? Ian, how would you cope? There's no technology there. That's a good start.
Badly, I think I'd be bad. I like my creature comforts too much, so I can't see me living on the sand on a beach, even on a lovely Pacific island. Or maybe I can actually. Now you come to think about it.
Hello.
You guys would survive the longest.
What about you? How would you get on it?
It's clearly Makoti would last the longest. Clearly, I mean, you start eating yourself, wouldn't you?
There's enough in reserve.
Well, he can still wangle out a column a day.
Do you think so?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and a podcast. Through
And
Morse
a
code.
Serie A podcast.
Yes.
Serie awesome podcast. Who would he be contrary with, though?
I don't know. He'd find some
On his own, if you start arguing with yourself?
parrot. Ali, how would you go on a deserted island?
Not well.
I hate camping. I went camping.
No, that's not for me. But Shaka would do well. It's like every other week for him. It's vacation time.
Yes, it's vacation time.
It's like, all right,
Oh, Tom Cruise, man.
it's just another week.
No, he
Hey,
didn't.
Tom Hanks.
You had one job. This was your moment.
Tom somebody. Tom Hanks, right? Tom Hanks, man.
Come on.
Tom Cruise. There must be a film with Tom Cruise somewhere gone on a deserted island. I don't know.
Oh,
The
man.
boss's name was Wilson too.
I know, can you
by
imagine how angry Craig would get at Wilson?
Where's Wilson?
that was the ball that he
the ball
was his
that he's
friend.
talking to.
Oh, yeah. I do that now.
What are you looking at?
That's what I do with my toe when I'm at the gym.
Yes. Okay, final question for you, Ian. It's a big one. Cookies or donuts?
Oh, I'm not allowed to eat either of those. They're way too fattening. But donuts.
What sort of donuts you'll go
Donuts.
to, Ian?
Well, it'd have to be a big treat, but one of those sugary ones, I think. Yeah, with maybe a bit of raspberry jam in the middle.
Bit of jelly in the middle.
Making me hungry now.
Hey, for somebody who apparently is not eating the donuts, he knows a lot about the donuts.
Well, 4 if you twist my arm.
You haven't really got a sweet tooth, have you? No.
I'm more a starter person. Starter, main course, beer. That's the main course.
If you had to choose though between a cookie and a donut, donut.
Krispy Kreme
Yep.
glaze, original glazed donut.
There it is. Perfect. We are done. We'll be back tomorrow. Craig said it's going to be a barnstormer between Juventus and Atleti. It's going to be exciting. 4-1 in Turin, he said. We'll find out if he's right. Meanwhile, what's the other game? I've forgotten. Schalke
Schalke.
City.
City Schalke.